What would you say if a woman now is married to 2 men?
Haram.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why. Let's talk about this. What is the difference between a man, let's say me, I have 4 wives, right? What's the difference between a man having 4 wives and a woman having 4 men?
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time.
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time, and we know who the parents are, right? So let's say you had 4 pregnancies, you know who the mother is because she's carrying the baby, and you know who the dad is, top G. If you had a woman with 4 men and she gets pregnant, who's the parents?
What about if...
But no, I'm asking.
Okay,
do you know?
I ask, what if they're different races?
Answer the question.
You don't know.
Answer the question.
You don't know. Now, modern science can come along and maybe fix that for you, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong in the eyes of God. The idea of having a family, the idea of a child being born, one of the baselines for a new life to come onto this planet is for at least to understand who the 2 people who made it are, at least. If you have a woman fucking 4 dudes, you don't even know who got her pregnant.
So in the case, if the one thing that you're meant to have is, you at least you know who the 2 people that put that child on earth are, then that's why promiscuity for men is also a problem, because they get women pregnant. Sometimes they don't even know they have children. That's haram, no? No,
it's completely different. It's different because you have to understand, I'm talking about humans. You look at humans from a societal perspective, but society has changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her during pregnancy, she was going to die. She couldn't work a job. She couldn't hunt, couldn't fish, whatever, right? A woman literally needed that man for survival. So if you were to come to me and say, I'm pregnant, but you've been fucked by 4 different dudes, I'd be like, who says it's mine? Why am I looking after you? None of them want to look after her. She will literally perish. This is why in most of the world today, still today, virginity is so coveted, and throughout all of history it's been so coveted, because that's the only way to ensure paternity. She's a virgin, I know that's my baby. She ain't a virgin, prove it's mine. Outside of this modern science bullshit, Shaitan, the devil we have here in the West, in most of the world today, without virginity or at least a low body count or at least anti-promiscuity, you can't tell that that's your baby. So it's a completely different thing. You're looking at the idea of a woman being pregnant and coming to a group of men and saying, one of you has to take care of me and put up with me when I'm fat and moody and annoying and I need my bills paid. And all the men are going to sit there and go, no, fuck no, prove it's mine. You can't prove it, bounce.
So yesterday, 2 worlds collided that I did not know I needed, but Andrew Tate and Brittany Renner ended up on the same podcast. Shout out to Pearl. I want to focus on the specific exchange between Andrew and this other woman, Denelva, I think her name is. She goes on to say, what if a woman has 2 husbands? I think the question is pretty disingenuous for a few reasons. One, in general, women do not aspire to have multiple husbands. They don't aspire to have multiple men for the long term. If you look at history, there's very rare examples of women that have multiple husbands, if any. Typically, the female imperative is to get the best man, to be exclusive to just them. It's to consolidate on the highest bidder, right? And so I think there's a very interesting point about this exchange. Because there is no real example of feminine success, I think a lot of times women will take the example of what masculine success looks like and use that in terms of what they think feminine success is. So essentially, you'll hear women a lot of times say, oh, success to me is having a thriving career, making a lot of money, having a lot of dating options. It's never really raising a family of children to be productive citizens of society, or supporting a man to follow his dreams and to achieve his dreams and to become the most successful version of himself. It's not about nurturing. It's not about the support a lot of times. There's this idea of equal means identical. Is that, oh, a man and a woman are equal if they do the exact same things well. And I don't think equal means identical. I think that men and women are very good at different things, and they can divide and conquer in different ways. But let's get back to the clip.
Question. So obviously back then for survival, women needed a man. Otherwise, when they were pregnant, they could die and all of these things, they would perish. In today's society, given evolution, given the fact that as women we can go and get... men. Yeah, but I'm not saying that. Isn't there a glitch between what is actually happening and the nature of what we have in our bodies? I think that's probably the conflict that we're having right now.
Glitch in what way?
In the sense that women don't feel like they need men in the most physical sense, perhaps like right. Naturally.
It's very interesting. Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft, but it's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you still need men by proxy, 1, and 2, the second life gets difficult, you very quickly learn how much you need men. But women will go, I'm independent, I don't need no man because I have an OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans, and if anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer. I don't need men. Shut up, you fucking idiot. Of course you do. You just named your whole life is based on fucking men. The road you're driving on was paved by by a man. The house you're living in was built by a man. The car you're driving was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were to happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war were to start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself, and throw the feminism out the window. Feminism goes out the fucking window the second that the snow needs shoveling, or there's a fucking broken down car, or the tire needs changing. Then all that crap vanishes. It's garbage. And this is the very interesting thing. I'll make a point here, which is going to get me canceled again, but I don't give a fuck. But this is the point. Feminism in and of itself can't be defended. The point of an idea is that it can be defended by the people who believe in it. This has been the whole point of war since the dawn of time. It doesn't matter if it was the Christians against the Hindus. It doesn't matter if it was the Germans against the French. There were people who had ideas and ideologies, and they were prepared to fight each other to defend their ideology. Feminism is an ideology which cannot be defended by feminists. The only people who could defend feminism are the men who subscribe to the garbage. If all the feminists were to get in a line and say, we want feminism, and the conservative men were to get in a line, you would learn very quickly it's bullshit.
So there's this idea of, I'm an independent woman, I don't need a man. And let's just look at this from the standpoint of a woman saying she doesn't need a man for a relationship. So a woman saying, I don't need a man for my entire life for a relationship. I can go get a sperm donor and have kids and raise them by myself. All right, let's break this down. If a woman is making, on average, about $35,000 a year, and let's just look at an average woman. Even if we take it up to like $50,000, we can still do the math, right? On average, for a person to live between the ages of 65 to 85 on retirement money, they need about $1.7 to $2 million in today's dollars, right? So a woman who's making $50,000 a year, raising 2 kids by herself, it would not be possible for her to save up $1.7 to $2 million to be able to retire at 65 without government assistance. And so there's a quote that I really like. A woman naturally desires to be taken care of and protected by a man. When that element is gone, a woman starts acting unnaturally. She starts developing an alpha male complex of her own. She becomes who she desires. I think that's really important, and I think that's what we're seeing a lot now in society, is that women are starting to become the men that they really want, hoping that they can attract that man by becoming that man. And a lot of times people don't understand that opposites attract. I think re-engineering certain things that have just existed since the beginning of time, that's just well-known wisdom, is futile. There is a real gender war going on right now, and I don't think it's bringing anybody closer together. I mean, you have men on one side. I think a lot of men are starting to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not going to worry about dating. You got women on the other side who either are going to try to consolidate on the highest bidder. They're going to try to get a Diddy, a Nick Cannon, a NBA Youngboy, a Future. They'll just be an additional baby mother. Or maybe they'll just be single and die alone. I think that the war, honestly, is going to get worse before it gets better. I don't see anybody waving the white flag in this. So it'll be interesting to see how these conversations continue to pan out in society. But I think it is really important that people are starting to speak a lot more freely about these things. I mean, some of the stuff that Andrew's talking about has never really been put in the public forum in the way that it is today.
I tell you something now. So this is the thing. This is when we assume that women perhaps don't have the physical or even mental ability to go to a war. Wait. Because this is the thing. For example, in Ukraine, a lot of women took up arms. And in fact, I'm Angolan. I'm Angolan. Wait, I'm Angolan. And
don't lie.
Listen,
to the people at home.
Wait, don't worry. I'll talk about my personal story.
Go to war? You
no,
fight
wait.
Let
me tell you something. This is the thing. I think it's also really like silly to assume that, for example, a woman, because she didn't go to school, she'll not be as intelligent as a man. Therefore, naturally, a woman is not intelligent. No, it doesn't make sense. If we're now starting to normalize equality and we want to put everybody in the forefront, give a woman a
Who's
gun.
Who's normalizing equality?
Well, that's what people are wanting. Then that's
people
the case.
Like who?
Let me tell you, Auntie.
Who wants to normalize equality? People like who? Feminists. Who else wants to?
Well, actually, no equality. I want respect. That's really what I want.
What's stopping you from getting respect?
Exactly.
No,
I get respect.
I get respect. I get respect.
So,
that's what I want. That's what I like.
Respect.
What I think is,
you don't even know what you want.
I'll tell you what I want.
Don't know what you want. You want equality,
as a woman, I carry myself differently. I actually hold the things that I have done in the fights that I fought. I hold it. That's why when you speak to me, I don't move different. I move different to many of the girls. That's why when you talk to me and you argue with me, I don't take it. You do sometimes. And I'll tell you something. A lot of women may have the accolades ways to be somebody, but they're uncomfortable to own that. And the reason why, then I would like to ask you, for example, I do need a man, for example, to, procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong. And I would find a way to protect myself differently. With that mentality, what would be the man that would be for me then?
Denava, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
What would I do? I'll tell you.
What would you do? What would you do? No, seriously, there's no guns here.
She's a feminist.
I'll tell you. No, I'm not a feminist.
Was and say, Tate.
I'm not a feminist. I'm a bit smarter.
Okay,
I'd play dead. One. Yeah.
Okay, they see you're not dead.
It's okay.
They
no,
see
I'd
you
be like
breathing.
this. And then if not, maybe I would kind of like be very gentle and comply to find a way to get out of it.
So
if they want to come and kill me, there's not much that many people can do.
But let's make an important point. You're talking about equality equaling respect. The way you get respect as a woman is by being feminine. There's nothing, we can be equal and very, very different. I'm not saying that when there's not equality, but you've confused equality with the same. You can be equal with completely different things. You can have a bishop and a knight on a chessboard. They're equal in terms of points, but they do different things, right? A woman can have equal respect to a man if she is very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect by being very good at being a man. When a woman decides she wants to act like a man, or a man wants to act like a woman, that's where all gets fucked up. We try and pretend it's all the same. It's not the same. Men and women are good at different things. We have different strengths, different weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a woman, I'm good at X, he's a man, he's good at Y. Then we work together as a team, we have a beautiful family, we're happy forever. It's only confused where you have women who sit and go, no, because in the name of equality, we can fight in war. There's no fucking women on the front line in Ukraine. That is psyop bullshit. They put some chick there dancing around doing Pokemon dances to try and convince men to go fucking die in a ditch. It's garbage. If you go to the front line of Ukraine right now, you do not see women in their makeup and their manicures. You see fucking men in the freezing cold dying. You know where the women are? Dubai. Chilling. That's where the women are. So to sit and pretend that women are just as capable physically as men is a fucking lie. It's delusion. To say that you're as strong as men is delusion. You are good at other things. You're better than men at a lot of things, but it's not the physical world.
So I wanted to look more into this idea of women being on the front lines of the war in Russia, right? So I found this article by Time. There's a few examples of women in here who have talked about why they've joined this war, so let's look at it. Alright, around 15% of the regular Ukrainian army is female, so we're talking about a very small percentage of women who have joined this army. So this idea that she's making in the video about women are on the front lines, there may be some women on the front lines, but it's not like they're dominating the front lines. This woman, Hannah Jarvis, she's a 39-year-old British Army veteran who will soon depart for Ukraine. So she went and told her kids, she has 2 kids, a boy and a girl, that she's only going as far as Poland. And she says, I get criticized by people online who say I'm not looking after my family. I mean, you're not really looking after your family. I mean, you're not with them, right? You're leaving to go fight in this war that you don't really have to fight in. And who are you leaving the kids with if you're going to go fight in the war? And maybe let's assume that you have a father to your kids who's also fighting in this war, so who's watching the kids? And so there's this woman, Nana Tamarzi, I can't pronounce that, but y'all see what's on the screen. And she goes, I thought, what kind of wife am I gonna be sitting here? He could die there. Am I just gonna watch us from afar? She goes to drop her son off at her grandfather's and jumps in a bus full of upset Georgians bound for Ukraine. So wait, your husband is already fighting in the war. You decide the best thing for me to do is to drop my kids off and leave them alone to go fight in this war that I really don't have to fight in. It's not making sense. The children need you. The children's father is already out at war, so I'm sure they're pretty stressed and anxious about their father being gone. And you decide the best thing to do is to leave them at your grandfather's house. We don't know how old granddad is, but granddad might be old. He may not be able to look after these little kids for that long. And especially, we don't even know how long you're about to be gone, but you drop them off at granddad's, you jump on a bus full of upset Georgians bound for Ukraine. I'm gonna assume for the sake of this article that the upset Georgians are probably men who are being forced to fight in this war. So you go and voluntarily join a group of men who are forced to join this war when you don't have to. You could just sit at home, watch the kids, take care of the kids, and make sure that they're good. It's not making sense to me. I don't get it. But I think we live in this society right now where everybody wants to do everything. There's this idea that, oh, I want to do what men are doing. Men and women should do the exact same things. And that's not really how we were designed. If we were all designed to do the same thing, we would all just be the same. It would just be all men. That's my thought. But, you know, what do I know? This is More Than Muscle. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.